Life is Strange Before the Storm, the main story is concluded.
Yeah.
Jane, you and I have both finished it. I think it's safe to say that we really enjoyed the game overall.
I did.
And yet there are some things that made us go, about it. Some outstanding questions, some things we weren't sure about, and you're about to hear what those are. This is obviously going to be an extremely, extremely spoilery chat, so if you don't want spoilers for the Life is Strange Before the Storm, that game or the first game, then look away now. You've been warned.
So, how did everything go? Rachel, I've got to tell you something.
Luke.
Yes.
At the end of Life is Strange, Before the Storm, I mean, before the montage, you have the key decision.
The key decision.
The decision, arguably, that the entire 3-episode arc has been moving towards, which is you have a buttload of secrets that you can choose to keep to yourself, or spill it all to Rachel.
Yes.
And if you tell Rachel all the really bad things that her dad has been doing to keep her safe and protect her, then you will destroy her relationship with her father.
Yeah.
If you keep the truth from her, she will continue to love her father.
Tell her what James did, and you'll be killing him for her. You understand that, don't you? You lost your father. Do you really want to put Rachel through that?
And that's your decision.
And that is basically the choice.
What do you want to do?
Yeah.
So what did you do?
For me, it really didn't seem like a difficult choice. I told Rachel the truth. Because the whole narrative of the game is that Chloe and Rachel have this weird Thelma and Louise thing going on, like it's them against every authority figure, everyone else who like doesn't approve of their relationship, and they're looking out for each other, and that bond is extremely tight. So the idea that Chloe would then lie to Rachel about something really, really important.
Why would you participate in that machine of authority to keep kids safe from the truth?
I know.
After all you've seen,
I couldn't understand it, and I did think about it. I did, consider both. Probably like 2 or 3 minutes, thinking over what's the best thing to do. But in the end, it was an easy choice for me because I couldn't bear the idea of Chloe and Rachel having this secret that would drive them apart.
It would be.
Yeah.
And this is a spoiler for The Last of Us, which you weren't expecting in this video, so...
No, we just warned of spoilers. Anything could get spoiled. So, got bad news about Bruce Willis, everyone.
For 60 seconds, if you haven't played The Last of Us, it felt like the end of The Last of Us, where it's like you're living a lie. This lie at the heart of your relationship invalidates everything else. The whole thesis was lies are bad, the truth always. Give them the chance to make their own decision. Don't keep something from them.
Before the Storm surely is about trying as long as you can to preserve the purity and the innocence and the clarity of thoughts that you have as an adolescent who has like found someone who they are very powerfully attached to.
At the point of the lies about Sarah, about Rachel's mother being kept from her being so toxic, that's doubly true now that she's not a baby anymore.
Yes.
She's practically a grown-ass woman who deserves to know the truth. Also, her dad's the district attorney. He is corrupt as hell, breaking all these laws. Even if Rachel wasn't your friend, that truth ought to come out.
We'll get on to the dad because there's more to say about Mr. Rachel.
He'll get his.
Whatever his name is.
He'll get his. Mr. Rachel. Mr. Amber.
Mr. Amber.
Mr. Amber.
What kind of name is it? Yeah. Anyway, something interesting about the final choice is that I wonder if you're supposed to be thinking on a slightly meta level about it, because hiding the truth from Rachel, everyone surely knows that if you have a lie like that, something that you knew and didn't divulge, that is going to fester in the relationship, it's going to be divisive in the end. But I wonder if you as the player are being asked to say, well, you and I both know that she's only got a year, so it's
not a year. It's more. Oh,
is it more than that? Well,
I can't remember. She's only got a certain
short
amount of time to live.
So it's like, you are lying to her, yes, but it's not going to like come out and ruin her life when she's 30 or 40.
If you can just keep it under wraps for like a year.
Yeah, exactly. You basically
something.
only have to and I think there's more of an argument if you think about it in those terms, because you're saying, well, Rachel is going to be horribly murdered. Like, maybe her last year should be one where she thinks that she has a great dad. I don't know. I still didn't choose that, but that's the only reason I can think for why 51% at the time that I completed it.
You look at those stats, it's
did hide the truth from
pretty
Rachel.
even.
And a lot of people watching this, it's presumably statistically slightly more, will have chosen that. And that's what I genuinely want to know is, what were you thinking? No, what was your reasoning?
I'm sure there's some good reasoning that leads to that decision.
There must be. And I think it's
really... Sarah asks you to.
Yeah.
But then she's famous for making bad decisions.
And she's high.
Yeah, she's literally high at the time.
She's not going to remember that conversation.
She's very lucid for someone who,
Yes, sat there smoking a cigarette.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
You must take this to your grave.
Ah, man, I don't understand. But it is absolutely to the game's credit that it gives you a moral choice that at the end you are like, obviously this, it can only be this. But then you find out that it was an almost exactly 50-50 split among players.
That's more like what you want as a developer.
Impressive.
Yeah, 50-50 is a good split.
Yeah.
If they wanted to raise the stakes, and we talked about this ages ago when we were talking about Before the Storm, it's a prequel, it has to meet up, ostensibly, with how Life is Strange begins.
Sure.
If you threw it out the window, you're like, what if you can save Rachel's life? What if by lying to her, preserving her relationship with her father, she doesn't go off the rails, she doesn't start hanging out with Frank, she doesn't get involved with drugs, she doesn't end up in the photo murder basement, and she lives?
So now we're talking about being offered an option of you can live...
Break the canon.
You can live a life...
Yeah, split the timeline.
Where Chloe and Rachel are friends, or more than friends, depending on what you chose, but there's this secret.
There's a secret.
She could live a long life.
But it might save her life. But that being said, I don't think the game ever really implies that it was Rachel going off the rails that ends up with her being dead in a junkyard.
I don't think so. What choice did you make at the end of Life is Strange?
I made the correct choice, the
which was
right one.
Tell the people.
Which was where you don't let Chloe die.
Damn straight.
Obviously.
Yeah, I saved Chloe.
I think that should
be
some kind of psychopath test. Like, don't trust anyone that chose the other one.
Way to alienate 50% of the view.
I'm sorry, 50% of people.
It's all right.
I understand that it's meant to be about like a selfless choice or a selfish choice, but then I just felt the game was establishing this time-reversing will conquer all love story, and then to be like, well, I guess you die now, bye. To save a town that I don't like much anyway.
Yeah, I was very happy with the choice, and I think in the first game, and I think part of that was that I just felt affronted that the game had even asked me to make it.
How dare
you? How dare you, game? Yeah. I refuse to accept your terms.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
The choice to save the town felt like one of those thought experiments where it's like, oh, but maybe gladiator battles are good if enough people enjoy watching the person be killed or whatever, and it's just like, it's just mealy-mouthed like.
Max, will you save this baby, or will you save
it's like trolley problem
lorry full of 100 babies?
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, I don't have time for your morality nonsense. It's always wrong to kill your friend. That's the end of it. I think it was pretty impressive that I was so invested in Before the Storm, knowing that the main character is murdered and literally everyone else dies in your
headcanon. Life is Strange.
Dies shortly after. In like a town-wrecking tornado.
Yeah.
So here's something. What the hell were they thinking with that phone ringing scene at the very end?
While it's fresh in mind. Your exact reaction, recoiling from the TV screen.
I stood up in my living room in like revulsion, and I don't think it was a good kind of revulsion, like when a game makes you feel something.
No, not like, oh, that is a horrible thing to happen to that character. More
More like,
why are you showing me this video game? I know. I know this happened. Guess what? Sorry, please continue.
No, it's fine, it's fine. I was just going to shout as well.
Now it's your turn to shout.
It's so spectacularly misjudged, I think. I really think that the achievement of Before the Storm as a whole game, the thing that it does that's genuinely impressive, is that it takes a game that's a prequel, where you basically already know the ending, as with all prequels, and yet somehow gets you genuinely, really emotionally invested in these characters, particularly Rachel, and what happens to her and how she's feeling. And then by the end, when you're looking at that montage, and there's the music, and there's the photo booth bit and stuff, and you're like, man, I really feel like I've built something playing this game. And then the enormous tonal shift at the end to just gross, like winking, eyebrow raising, like, oh, she's being murdered right now.
Guess what's happening just off
she's being
camera?
Murdered off
right
camera.
now. You remember?
In Life is Strange, the first game, Rachel is not really a thing. She's just like a poster and a plot point for Chloe to sort of
her presence is
around.
everywhere, but she's not a character.
Yeah, exactly. And in Before the Storm, they managed to flesh her out in such an incredibly impressive way. They kind of give her agency and make her her own person. And then I think at the end it just turns her back into a victim.
The girl on the missing poster.
Yeah, she's just a murder victim, and her defining quality is that she gets murdered by some asshole photographer.
I'm not sure what they were trying to do, aside from like, hey, do you remember what happened to Rachel Amber?
I do. It was memorable.
Yeah. I do.
That's how memory works.
I couldn't quite fathom that. It felt tawdry.
Tawdry is an excellent word for it, and also just really, really sad. Like, if you look on the phone, you can see that there's a bunch of missed calls from Chloe.
Yeah, it's like loads of missed calls you assume from Chloe, who is like, and then you just remember how like brutally destroyed Chloe is in Life is Strange, and you're like, oh yeah, and we all know that's where it's going. There's no one playing this game who doesn't know that.
Right.
It felt unnecessary.
So unnecessary.
I mean, maybe the point was to be, this is a sad game.
I think
remember these games are sad.
Remember these games are sad.
And you're like, yeah, well done. I know it's sad. It's all sad.
It's all sad, guys.
It was really sour. It left a sour taste. I mean, I enjoy so much of it.
Yeah. That just
that is really jarring.
And it's right at the end as well. I was like, controller was going down. I was like,
well, thanks 2018 for the first great finished game experience.
No, to just safely relax. No. Why did they do that? I don't get it. Is there something they could have done instead that would have connected it to the tragic events of the first game without being quite so in your face?
But the thing is, it's not connected to the events of the first game. It's not it's not an inevitable repercussion of the events of the first game.
Yeah, Rachel doesn't die because you make friends with her. You know what, maybe the simplest explanation is just that it was a bad idea and they made a bad choice.
They're like, well, we've got to put something at the end of the game, and you didn't get to meet Mom, so let's put this thing in there. Theories in the comments, please.
Let us know.
Tell us why.
What I wouldn't give to leave this place and never look back.
What's stopping us?
Us? Are you serious?
There's nothing keeping me here. Not anymore.
So, if I came to you tomorrow and told you to pack your bags...
I'm serious. Let's do it, Chloe. Let's leave this place forever.
Okay.
Well, let's get into it then, Luke.
Okay, yeah. So we have a slight difference of opinion here. Jane, why don't you explain the situation?
Oh gosh, I can't remember how we got onto this because we were having a discussion a few days ago after I'd finished Before the Storm. And we don't see eye to eye exactly on the true nature of Rachel Amber.
That's right.
I don't think she's manipulative, which she is accused of being by one particular character in the game. I don't think she's bad, but I do think she's trouble.
You think she's trouble?
And I think Chloe just will do anything for her.
Yes.
For arguably very little in return. And I'm not saying it's a trade, but okay. Here's a specific concrete example.
Sure,
right?
go for it.
Okay.
Go for it.
Rachel, who is, bless her heart, like doesn't make smart decisions all the time.
No.
The bit where she just picks up a bit of wood, like grabs a 2x4 and smashes a drug dealer with a knife. And then is like, well, that's all I had.
What do you got?
I don't know.
Damon,
if you're gonna hit him, keep on hitting him. He's on the ground.
That's not the official advice of the channel, I should add.
But if you are going to, don't stop. Double tap. But she's just like, wham. Well, now what, Rachel? And the knife's still there, and then she ends up getting stabbed because that's what happens.
Yeah.
That's what happens. Right, so this guy is extremely dangerous.
Yes.
He has just warned you off seeking out your birth mother. Seeking out Rachel's birth mother.
Yeah.
And Rachel's been stabbed, nearly bled to death. She's in the hospital, recovering.
Barely
She's
survived.
like, Chloe, come here.
Yes, Rachel, what is it?
I just want It's just one thing.
Go on.
And you're like, oh,
Anything.
she wants a bunch of grapes, some flowers for a hospital room. Can you bring me some DVDs, pajamas? She's like, can you go chase up that thing about the murderous drug dealer and my birth mother? And you're like, I'm right. Don't you worry.
You really want this, don't you? I do, Chloe. I really do. Then, of course, whatever it takes.
I'm like, that is such a phenomenally dangerous thing to ask someone that you love
Yeah.
to do.
Yeah.
I don't think she means. I don't think she's this calculating. The accusation is that she's an actress through and through, and everything she does is to get
Calculated
her way.
and
and she's just. But I don't think it's as conscious as that. I think she's charming and she is magnetic and she's gorgeous and she's just such a free spirit that she attracts people to her who want to do anything they can to please her.
Right.
And Chloe does not have the cooler head that would be like, I do love you, Rachel, but that's a phenomenally bad idea.
So my view on Rachel
hit me.
was slightly different in that it never occurred to me that Rachel was being, I guess, accidentally or on purpose manipulative. I always thought that Rachel was totally devoted to looking out for Chloe, and I would not have said that Rachel is trouble, but having just heard you explain it, you're changing my mind. You are changing my mind. You're changing me around to that point of view where she's not deliberately manipulative, but she is maybe subconsciously used to getting her way, and so she doesn't think very much of it to ask, please, can you do this? She doesn't think too much about what that would mean for Chloe.
When she drags Chloe on stage for the school play, that is something
that's
Chloe
that's another good example.
That's not in Chloe's
Chloe
nature.
doesn't want to, does she?
No, it's Rachel's good luck on this occasion that it works out really super great.
Chloe's incredible.
And Rachel has a great time, Chloe has a great time.
Yeah.
But it could have gone another way. So it's just good luck and Rachel's natural charisma that leads to that.
Okay,
so,
I'm coming around to the shades of grey sort of Rachel angle, the Amber angle. So I agree with you, Jane, you've changed my mind. But one thing that I would just throw out there is that I think, generally speaking, Rachel is not as in charge of their pairing and their relationship as it might seem, because I think it looks like Rachel's the one saying go here, do this, go on stage now, we're doing a play or whatever. But I do think there's another side to it where basically I think what Rachel is getting from Chloe, the reason that she likes her, is that she is learning to defy authority, and she's learning to be trouble, and she's learning to set things on fire. And Chloe is rebellious and just does her own thing and follows her own path, basically on autopilot. She's really good at it and practiced.
Natural.
She's had a few more years of a difficult time, and so she basically just goes with the flow in terms of that. And I think Rachel sees that somewhat, and Rachel, who's more of a grade A student and has a on paper perfect life, although we know that in the game and in real life that's never the case. She I think she's looking at Chloe and she's thinking that's what Chloe can teach me. I think Rachel wants to be as cool and as easy breezy when it comes to setting things on fire and talking back as Chloe is.
Okay.
You're a badass, Chloe Price.
What?
Remember that biker asshole who wouldn't let you into the mill? You talked your way right past him.
I'm trying to say that I think Chloe has more power and more of a lead in the relationship than it might appear at first.
That's interesting, but it's just Rachel's seemingly impervious confidence that comes of her being an actress makes it seem like it's a more lopsided relationship than it really is.
Obviously the story, it focuses on a difficult time in Rachel's life, but I think even despite that, I think there's more turmoil going on in Rachel's head. I think Chloe is quite comfortable with who she is, and Rachel isn't.
Right.
And that's what, I think that's what she sees in Chloe, and it's that's what I want.
We have a lot to talk about, and I don't care how long it takes. We're not leaving until you see that I'm right.
Eliot. the actual worst, capital T, capital A,
We should have
capital W.
known with his bland mannequin face.
Oh man, he's just like, he's texting you through episodes 1 and 2, and I'm like, what now, Eliot? Can't you see I obviously fancy this other girl?
Take a hint, Eliot.
Take a hint, Eliot. You know, like you're sort of, yeah. But totally seemed innocuous to me. I would be interested to know your point of view, Jane.
Yeah.
I did not see that coming.
Well, the weird thing is, we were discussing Eliot as he compares to, what is the name of Max's friend who wants to take her to all these like movie marathons?
Warren.
We were comparing him to Warren, who's the other sort of friend who is seemingly romantically interested in Max in the case of the last game, Chloe in the case of this game.
Seemingly safe.
Seemingly just a friend, just innocuous, you know, has been a bit sidelined.
Yeah, clearly wants more of a relationship,
but that's not happening. With Warren, I was like, I don't know, Max. I think you should be worried. And
I didn't trust Warren either. I never liked his bearing.
Okay.
How so?
Sensitive usually means won't be having sex with you.
Oh God. You need a sensitive woman to kick your ass.
But in the case of Eliot, I was like, it's just some guy, whatever. I'd almost forgotten about him if I'm perfectly honest, with his bland mannequin face.
With his terrifying mannequin face. It took me a minute when you actually see him. I was like,
who are you again?
What? Did Rachel have a brother or?
I wish Chloe had said that. It's like, wait, man, I got a lot going on. Who are you?
I want to say Eli.
But it was a brilliant little nugget of the plot that there's this dude who thinks he's been playing the waiting game, thinks he's looking out for you, but actually he's just the resentful, I've been friend-zoned friend, not friend.
Controlling. I'm very glad that the game took that on, because it's, you know, and decided to like tackle it and show it, like here's a...
It felt authentically nasty, it was just kind of a reveal that was so sudden and shocking, but also when you think about it now, all the signs were there.
All the signs were there. I'm glad the game decided to tackle that trope, because I think it's something that a lot of people deal with. And actually there's a lot of fiction out there that's about, you know, like winning a girlfriend as a prize. It's like a slightly ugly trope, isn't it? Actually, I thought it was one of the better handled scenes in the game.
It means you're going to stop thinking about Rachel and pay attention to me now, for once.
It really came from nowhere.
Yeah, it's hard to do twists in a game that's a prequel, but then there you go. As creepy as he is, there are points, there are a few points in that discussion where he makes the things you say make some like solid hits,
Sure.
I think, regarding...
Stop clock, gotta be right.
Yeah,
Twice a
kind
day.
of. Yeah. But he says, look at yourself, you've broken into the district attorney's private office. Yeah. You're destroying, I mean, he doesn't know all of this, but he's accidentally right when he's like, what the heck are you doing? This is serious stuff, because you've literally just destroyed some police evidence.
Yeah.
You have, like, you fingered a random snitch who was probably going to be murdered by a drug dealer.
Yeah, right.
You've done some mega, like, troubling
very shady
things,
stuff.
Very shady stuff. And you're doing it all for, you know, for Rachel, at her request, though not specifically. And
it very much plays into what you were saying earlier about, like, is there a power imbalance between Chloe and Rachel? Because Rachel's, you know,
to
safe in hospital, going, go fetch that, go fetch that.
Yeah, to an outsider it does look bad, and he is the outsider, and you're like, maybe he's onto something, and then he just goes, woo!
And then he goes, Well, the thing is, like, yes, those things that he says, that there is a point there, but his motivations behind it aren't that he's worried about Chloe.
No.
It's that he feels very much entitled. That
and you're
Chloe,
paying much too much attention to this Rachel.
Yeah, I've been texting you loads, so what are you doing at someone else's house? You know, and that controlling side, which obviously he was, you know, keeping under the surface, all bubbles up. I think it's maybe the best scene. The sense of peril there is very real.
Yes, much more so than I think in the fights with drug dealers and whatnot, which usually, like, Chloe gets knocked out and then you wake up and it's all been resolved.
And you wake up and something's happened.
Yeah, you're not as present for that confrontation as you were for this one.
It was a smaller, more relatable situation, I think.
Very relatable. Yeah. Good job, game.
It's my fault. I should have listened to you. Sarah's mixed up somehow with this psycho Damon Merrick.
I know exactly who Damon Merrick is.
Speaking of the district attorney, who is Rachel Amber's dad.
Yes.
He's just not a good district attorney.
What the hell is he thinking at every stage in his life?
Right. Are we meant to believe that all the shady stuff he's doing is only in relation to his daughter?
Well, like,
or is he just corrupt through and through? Is he in bed with the mob? We don't know.
I don't think there's any evidence that he's doing anything shady other than to protect Rachel. But the way that he's gone from 0 to 60 in terms of illegal behaviour, I think definitely
it's
implies...
only a matter of time before he's a Batman villain. He's like full on Two-Face.
I know, right?
He's just ready to villain it up.
It cannot have been the first time he's bent the rules or done something
No.
super illegal.
No.
Like, it all seems to be coming pretty easily to him. You know, he's got like a box of evidence.
Why is the evidence in his home office?
Yeah,
We're not allowed to take evidence.
I guess he's
home.
taking it home, even though he knows that he shouldn't, because he wields that power because he's the DA, I suppose.
Yeah.
You know, he's got all of this like stuff in his own home. It strikes me as kind of, you know, he's in a position
crooked.
of power.
Yeah.
He's crooked and lazy about it.
Yeah.
And that's the vibe I got from him. Not that he's a good man doing one exceptional thing to protect his daughter.
No.
Just that he is always willing and able to bend the rules.
Yeah, for himself.
Yeah, to get the end he wants.
I know she'll be thrilled to see you when she wakes up. Maybe come back a little later.
Hey.
Go back to sleep, kiddo. You need your rest.
Which definitely keys into which mega decision you make at the end.
Yes.
Because why do you want to preserve Rachel's perfect relationship with her old but perfect father if actually he's just a crooked lawyer?
Yeah, I don't think he's that perfect.
Yeah, who will pay drug dealers to kidnap his ex-wife or
and that is
what have you.
So far beyond the pale of what's acceptable behaviour. If all he'd done was not give Rachel the letters, maybe. Is there more of an argument for being like, well, you know, he was under a lot of stress or whatever? But I don't know. But like, getting hitmen to kidnap her, that's crazy. There's every chance that if you told Rachel, oh no, your dad's great, we never found your mum or whatever, and you take that choice, then in 6 months' time or whatever, Rachel's dad will be like, hey Rachel, I've got in on a great scheme, we just need to...
We've all got to go into witness protection now.
Or like, hey, I was getting in on a timeshare pyramid scheme. Or,
it's only a matter of time before the truth comes out about how rotten her father is.
He'd be like, she'd wake up in the middle of the night and he's getting all the copper out the walls and something.
I need you to help me bury something in the backyard. Don't look.
No questions asked.
He's a bad one.
He is a bad one.
He's a bad one.
He's a bad guy. And he's bad.
He doesn't deserve to be protected. I feel for Rachel's mum. Not her birth mother, but her mum.
Oh my god.
And that trope where it's like, she's not my real mother, I don't even know who you are anymore. I'm like, that's really unfair. She seems nice.
It's all lies. Everything. My entire life. My dad. My mom. If I can even call her that anymore.
She provably is nice.
Yeah.
She's raised a nice person. She's polite to Chloe.
Under difficult circumstances.
Incredibly difficult circumstances.
She overlooks her husband's many, presumably awful
her and Rachel need to get
failings.
out of that situation, I think.
But then Rachel's in bed like, I hate everyone, especially my fake mother.
Everything's a lie.
Oh,
it's like,
no.
she raised you, Rachel.
Yeah.
I'm willing to bet that she put in a lot more hours than your dad did.
Hey, Price. Nice wheels.
You're early, Frank. What's the occasion?
In the first Life is Strange game, Frank is a sort of lovable rogue, isn't he?
Drug dealer.
Drug dealer, you know. Sure.
He's got a dog.
He's got a dog.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously he's no good, but he's got a heart of gold.
I was eating those beans!
Sure.
Did you get vibes that he had killed a man when you were playing the game?
Almost certainly. I mean...
Really?
Yeah. Where's Damon gone if Frank hasn't killed him and buried him in the junkyard?
Oh, yeah, sure. I mean, don't get me wrong. I totally think that he's killed Damon and he pours one out for his lost buddy and stuff like that in the cutscene.
Yeah, that's it.
You know, Damon is fully dead. Frank has fully murdered him.
Oh, okay.
Probably in self-defense.
Oh, you don't think that's in question?
I don't think it's in question.
Okay,
I think it's so heavily implied that it's basically what we meant to think.
But you mean like, is he a
What I mean is that
cold-blooded killer?
I didn't get the impression in Life is Strange, the first game, that Frank had that in him or was like that serious a criminal or anything. So it makes me think of Frank in a slightly different light. But do you think it makes his character inconsistent? The fact that he's killed in self-defense, you know, fair enough, totally reasonable grounds to kill someone. I just think that, you know, his character is a sort of ne'er-do-well, but like ultimately slightly lovable.
Do you feel like it'd be more in
drug dealer.
keeping with his character if at that point he turns himself in? Because he's like, I deal, you know, I'm a small-time dealer, but I've actually killed someone, I ought to go away for a while, kind of thing. I really thought before the storm would set the stage a little more for how Rachel ends up in a relationship with Frank.
I'd completely forgotten.
This is the face of a man remembering that Rachel and Frank end up together.
In a relationship?
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't make any sense at all. That's total lunacy. What? No, of course not. For reals? Yeah, for reals.
Right, for reals. So I thought they were going to establish this thing where Chloe and Rachel have this relationship-breaking crisis, and Rachel goes off the rails and takes up with Frank because he's got drugs and a puppy, I guess, and she lives in his RV for a while. And then everything unfolds with the tragic inevitability of Life is Strange.
No.
Just telling you what's canon, dude.
Oh man, it is canon. It's canon.
Rachel. Oh, God. She was the one good thing in my life, Max. I know she was too young. I expect her to leave me. Just not how it happened. I would never have stopped her from going after her dreams.
I'd completely forgotten that.
Yeah.
And that doesn't make any sense.
No, the way it happens in Life is Strange is that you get the impression that they've sort of drifted apart somehow, Rachel and Chloe.
Yeah.
And Rachel has taken up with Frank.
Yes.
So you don't know what happens, but presumably that happens in a way that is kind of separate to Before the Storm.
What could Rachel see in Frank?
I mean...
I didn't think too hard about it then.
No.
Did you not hear about the drugs and the puppy?
Oh, okay.
Drugs and the puppy. I guess it hadn't occurred to me that, yeah, when Rachel got the truth from Chloe, it would be the whole truth where Frank murdered Damon.
I'm shaken and have no wish to continue.
Shaken to your core.
The shaken rocked me to my very core. That is a massive disparity in character for Rachel. I was saying, like, isn't it a bit weird that Frank's a little out of character in the first game?
Yeah.
But you've just reminded me that Rachel's actions in the first game are very, very hard to square with what you've seen Before the Storm.
The thing
those two are like that. Look, hashtag Amber Price.
He's got the friendship bracelet.
I've got the friendship bracelet. So
what say you?
So what say you, universe?
Yeah.
How has this happened?
Yes.
Don't go, Chloe. I've been meaning to show you something. Maybe now's a good time.
When I'm thinking of important decisions
Yes.
in the third part of Before the Storm,
Yeah.
I'm thinking of the sort of finale of your your ongoing beef with David, your stepdad.
Yeah.
Chloe's stepdad, and whether you accept this photo of him and his army buddy.
Yes.
Because he tells you this story where he's like, I know what it's like to lose someone.
Yeah.
I lost someone when I was in the wars, and here's a photo of me with him. And it's a touching story, and he's trying to reach out to you, I think is the impression you're meant to.
Yeah.
Did you take the photo?
I did take the photo. I know that when I looked at the stats at the end, almost everyone did take the photo, so I know it was a very popular choice.
It was a good speech about his
I
army buddy.
I don't like David at all, but I think I see him more in shades of grey than you do. I was surprised that you took the photo. The game makes it very hard to refuse the photo.
Yeah, I think that's it, because I straight up hate that guy.
You do.
The most fun I had in Life is Strange Before the Storm is just wailing on David.
If you were a man,
It's cool. If you were a man, I wouldn't go so easy on you either.
Don't know why I bother trying.
Mission accomplished.
Just every opportunity, arguing with him, sassing him, calling him names, just telling my mum he's trash, and in a really unreasonable way sometimes. Not
Really
always, but sometimes in a very unreasonable way.
So unhelpful.
It was really fun, and it felt like so in character. It cost me a lot to accept that photo of David, but I only did it because Chloe's mum asked her to. And I think Chloe's mum is maybe the purest character in that game.
Chloe's mum asks you many times, like, please just be nice, and David, please just get on and stuff, and you know that still doesn't stop players in most cases from being like.
It felt more like
jog on.
towards the end of episode 3 that she was addressing you both equally. Up until that point, it always felt like she was. Why are you always taking his side, Mum? Why can't you see how big a douchebag he is?
Yes,
And I think the fact that it came just after that bit where you're like, no, Mum, he's just been through my room and stolen all my drugs, and it feels like that opens her eyes a little bit to you know how he has been unfair, and also it's not a promise. You just say, I'll take this phone and think about it.
Yeah, I'll think about it. Well, I'm only promising to think about it.
I thought
about it. Thought about setting it on fire.
Think about burning this photo.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it feels more like a stalemate, like a detente, than a kind of right. We're cool now, because obviously we're not cool now, and I hate you forever.
It would be so rude and so hurtful and like impossible to come back from if you were like, no, screw your
Smack it
dead
out of his
friend.
hand onto the floor.
You know, yeah. Just take it. It's not an unreasonable request. He is trying, even though he's terrible. He's getting it so wrong. But, you know, he's not just like, Chloe, I don't care about you. I think it would be worse if David was like, Chloe, as long as you stay out of my way and I don't have to see you or talk to you, just do whatever you want. Just finally, Jane, obviously Before the Storm doesn't have any of the time rewinding stuff that was going on in the first game. Was there anything that was supernatural or multiple universes or like the unavoidability of destiny? Was there anything X-Files going on in Before the Storm at all, in your opinion?
Nope, nothing. No.
Nothing.
I was a little surprised. I thought they would introduce some element or some tease.
Yeah.
I don't know, a meteorite falls to Earth in Arcadia Bay and you're like, one day someone will have time powers.
Yeah, I didn't see any supernatural stuff either, and I was really looking for it because there's one cutscene in particular where you start the fire, the devastating
Rachel
fire.
starts the fire that kills
that kills
a lot of animals, seemingly.
Man.
Maybe that's why it's the perpetual theme of Before the Storm, that this fire is raging, and Rachel never comments on it, but it is absolutely her doing.
Yes.
She causes chaos and trouble everywhere, but she's like, well, this is not my fault.
Hasn't anyone ever told you not to fall asleep with a lit cigarette? You could start a fire.
Chaos happens around her.
Don't make me take off this hashtag Amber Price band, Jane.
Yeah.
Don't make me
It's
throw
probably
it into
something
the
about
sea.
how like forest fire is beautiful but consumes everything it touches.
But there's a point where the fire first begins, and it's Rachel, like she kicks over that bin, and the tree goes up, and she does like a scream, and there's some like windy stuff going on. And when I saw that, I thought, oh, here we go.
She's a banshee.
She's doing a magic.
She's a phoenix from X-Men. She's a Jean Grey.
She's a Jean Grey. Yeah. We got a Jean Grey situation up in the hills.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think so. I don't think there's anything supernatural at all.
And it makes the game so dissimilar in a really major way.
Yeah.
That we were talking about the consequences of Before the Storm as they feed into Life is Strange, but those two games are even more separate in my mind, because one has this like Donnie Darko thing going on, and one of them is like a teen melodrama.
Yes, that's fair. Maybe that's why I was able to play through Before the Storm and be very invested in the characters of Rachel and everyone in the town when I knew full well that Rachel dies very soon, and also everyone in the town dies when my canonical ending,
when I let them.
When I let them, of saving Chloe over everyone else in the town. Maybe that's why Before the Storm works, and maybe that's why they decided not to do any supernatural stuff, so that it did feel more different.
Yeah,
do you reckon?
Yeah, they wanted to tell a story about the characters.
Yeah.
But they didn't want it to be so much like slotting into the universe of Life is Strange, the main game. The main thing I think, from Before the Storm is that Chloe is brilliant. Everyone else is less brilliant. Yes. Max, less brilliant. Sorry, Max.
Yeah.
Rachel,
Max, ouch.
less brilliant. Like the reality of Rachel, Amber, guess what? is not the kind of ideal picture that we were getting in Life is Strange.
Sure.
And yeah, Max, you let me down. All the stuff from episode 1, episode 2, where Chloe is like, hey, how's it going?
Oh, it's
How's
so
it going?
sad.
Max is like, oh, I'm really bad at texting, sorry. Maybe Skype you later.
Yeah. Oh
Bad.
man, I'm so
Bad,
behind on all my
Max.
texts. What time would be a good time to call? And Chloe's like, any time's good. Oh man.
Man, yeah.
Max.
I wish I could have seen that inside Max's thoughts when we were playing Life is Strange. Like, I'm a flaky friend. Better go hook up with
Whoopsie.
Yeah.
Was that today?
Every time she's like, oh, I'm wistful photo child, and you're like, you're bad at texting your friends.
Bad flaky Max.
Don't you think I'm happy to see you? No. You were happy to wait 5 years without a call or even a text.
Don't be so flaky, Max.
But then if I played Life is Strange now, I'd be like, oh, Max, she's
the
just
real
a dreamy
hero.
summer child.
They do get into that. It's in the first game. It's not easy for Max to reconnect with Chloe. It's not like
because she feels guilty,
Yeah.
rightfully, about how flaky she's been.
yeah, and Chloe is rightfully angry as well. You know.
Yeah.
So they do get into that a little bit.
Meshes. At least
Yeah.
that does meet up. But
It
yeah,
does
the main
mesh.
thing I take away is that I really like Chloe as a character. Like,
So,
I really
yeah.
did a great job of
Yeah.
of fleshing out her character.
You know what? If you'd have asked me before I played Before the Storm, what do you want Life is Strange 2 to be about? I'd have said like, oh well, whatever Max and her time and Wendy Powers get up to next. Max is cool. But now I'd say in the third game, I'd just like it to feature Chloe at any point in her life. I feel like Chloe is now the indispensable like anchor of that series.
Yeah.
She is, you know,
Fair.
this prequel has made her like the very heart of the whole thing.
Agree.
Please don't want to talk. Please don't want to talk.
I
Please.
want to talk to you about something.
Fuck.
So, I'm all talked out Life is Strange wise, Jane.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you've put it to bed?
Yep.
It's felt cathartic.
Yeah.
Hope it felt
all
cathartic for you guys as well, viewers.
Screaming at the screen
Screaming
about
at the
how
screen.
wrong we are.
Yeah,
I hope
about
that was
all
some
our
catharsis.
Terrible choices. I think it is a game that demands discussion and demands to be talked about.
Yeah.
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 And I think it's absolutely to the credit of the game that we can talk for so long and we've barely scratched the surface.
We didn't even talk about Mikey and Steph, and they're some of my favourite things.
Oh, they're the
and
best.
people, I mean.
They're the best.
And
I
yeah,
love
we
their
didn't
D&D
even touch
game.
on that. So
Again, Rachel, the all-consuming fire of the discussion. That's it, the band's coming off. So thank you for watching, guys. Do let us know your thoughts on Life is Strange, because I'd be very interested to hear, because at the moment I just want to read and know everything about Life is Strange.
Theories, please.
Theories, please. So let us know in the comments what you guys think. Thank you for watching and stay tuned.